Good afternoon slash evening, everybody. Welcome back to Common Sense News and Entertainment, the Common Sense Connecticut version here with Selena Rifkin. I'm Jason Douglas. We've been away for a few days. Sorry about that. Tuesday, there's sickness that rolls around and a lot to do, and we just weren't able to get to things like we were hoping. But we're back and we're here. We got a lot to talk about, so we want to get right to it. A lot of different things we want to hit on here. A lot of time has passed. Number one, I just want to talk a little bit about the Connecticut University system here in Connecticut and Turning Point.
Woohoo.
Yeah. Now, in the effort to launch this new enterprise of Common Sense News and Entertainment, I am turned to the colleges for help with young journalists and people who want to be involved. I can't do this thing by myself. It's a big project. Right now, there's only time to do what we're doing. We want to expand it and do more. So naturally, we're recruiting in the colleges. And I found myself down at Eastern Connecticut State University, which is my alma mater. I graduated from there and actually touched base with a couple old professors and whatnot. But in doing so, I got to thinking about Turning Point. And we've talked a lot on the show earlier this year about Turning Point and Charlie Kirk and how they've expanded and what we wonder what they're doing in Connecticut. And so I started looking into it a little bit, and I couldn't find looking for a point of contact for Turning Point at Eastern, and couldn't find one. So I decided to check another one at Central, and it turns out Central does have a Turning Point chapter that was recently formed.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent.
And unfortunately, this is something that I'm prepared, but not well prepared enough to know the name of the RTC chair of Harwington, Connecticut, who's the youngest RTC chair in Connecticut, young man, and I will get his name. We'll post it afterward. But this gentleman was instrumental in helping get Turning Point started at Central Connecticut State University.
Oh, good for him.
Yes, good news, right?
Would you like to come on the show? We'd love to have him.
We're gonna look. I did make friends with him on Facebook just recently.
Excellent.
And if I had two phones, I could show you right now.
Okay.
Who he is. But I'm sorry, but my long-term memory is excellent. That's why I love history. I remember things throughout as if I was alive for 1,000 years, but my short-term memory is terrible. So I got to hear your name three times.
We don't know if he'd mind if we mentioned his name yet. You have to get permission.
That's true. That's true.
So you're off the hook.
I'm off the hook, but I have to hear the name 3 or 4 times before it sinks in. This is how it is.
That's okay. You could have just pretended. You could have just faked it.
I like this person, whoever he is. Well, he's the chair of the RTC in Harwington, so you can figure out who he is.
All right.
But anyway, I reached out to him, and we want to see if we can help out at Eastern.
Okay.
And get a chapter started there. I did a little research at Eastern to find out. I asked AI actually, why there's no Turning Point chapter. I asked AI about Turning Point at Eastern. I come to it's amazing what AI can do. Honestly, it's actually nothing more than that you can do with enough research.
Yeah, it
just does it faster.
And you have to ask the right questions.
Yeah,
or you're going to get like the most amazing gobbledygook you ever saw in your life. So
I found out that the state the university's student government association at Eastern. Every college has a student government association, and Eastern has one. And the president, as of last year, 24-25 academic year, was a young female. I'm not going to say her name. I don't know it anyway. Young female of Asian descent, I think. I don't know for sure. Apparently was uncomfortable with the idea of having Turning Point on campus because of their conservative views, simply put, by her. Straight enough. Sounds honest on her part, at least. Twisted, but honest. Twisted and anti-American, but honest. And apparently, according to AI, this is according to AI.
It's always good to cite your sources.
Yes.
It's a good idea.
I think so.
Which AI were you using?
I'm sorry?
Which AI were you using?
I believe Google. I simply do what I used to do when I wanted to ask the internet a question. I Googled it, and this is what I got. And I know the answer was generated by AI. I could just tell by the way the thing was spinning and the answer.
Pretty obvious at this point. So
yeah, right. AI we could talk about. That's a whole show we could talk about another time. But at any rate, I found out that this young female student, president of the government station, went to the president of the university, who is a man, Ishmael something. Again, the name escapes, but he's the president of Eastern State University, and his name is of Arab descent, it seems. Now, interestingly enough, and to be fair enough, she went to him and expressed this concern about having Turning Point on campus. And the president responded with, well, you should be fair to all sides,
Hmm.
which
Okay.
is commendable.
Yes, that is the attitude we're looking for.
That's what we're looking for, right? So this
Yeah.
guy may be a good dude. I don't know. And I don't hear there's nothing that AI seemed to have that was available beyond that. So the story kind of ends there. And so then I asked myself, given that there's no chapter there now that I know of or I can make contact with, that means that the president must have left it up to this young student government person who decided just not to let it happen.
Hmm.
So we're going to try to fix that. Okay. We're going to make contact with the gentleman from Harlington. We're going to try to find out who the people who applied for
Mm-hmm.
this inclusion on campus and was either ignored or denied, apparently, and find out
Right.
who they are and sort of try to resurrect. As an alum of the school myself, I feel like I have a little bit of.
You'd think.
I hope so. We're going to find out. This will be
Yeah,
part of what we're
this
going
will
to
be an
do here.
adventure. It'll
Now,
be an
here's another
adventure.
thing. Just in a brief thing, I haven't done a lot of posting here on YouTube over the last 4 or 5 days, and none actually, because I've been doing some stuff live on Facebook, and I can't not put the two together yet. And
Mhm.
that's what we're going to looking to do. That's one of the reasons we need AV, a little bit of AV work to be done to put these things together. We do them all at once.
Mhm.
So we're building a farm. I had an encounter, as people know, with the Coventry PD recently. That's a whole other story. We talked about it. That's tripled my followership on Facebook now since then.
Okay.
It's just, and what we're doing is we're going to put this all together into this network. But the bottom line is, um, at Eastern, this seems to be something that we can maybe have a little of an impact on and see that all voices are heard on campus, as we know, as it should be.
Yeah,
And I don't know who the president.
that's what university is supposed to be at. You're
Of
supposed to be able
course,
to have conversations, rational conversations that use your brain as opposed to your emotions.
right, and that's interesting. That's very important. It's a very important point and a very important distinction I want to make more and more on this show and on this network. It is the way that, like, my own brother, okay, two of my brothers, both of them, they use their emotions and then they look to find and twist facts to fit their emotions. To me, I consider that a light form of mental illness. I'm going to say it straight out. Okay,
Well,
if you're
I want to mediate that just a little bit, just a little
a
bit.
light form of it, it's not like a debilitating
Well,
time, but it's a
I
wrong way of
promise
thinking.
I'm gonna give you the psychological piece of that is
Okay,
that everyone always, and this is without exception, we always lean one way or the other. No one makes rational decisions except for psychopaths. That being said, you can mediate your emotional response. And if you can look, the more you can learn to mediate that emotional response, the better decisions you're going to make.
are you making a difference between the ones that on the left hinge that think Donald Trump's a tyrant and they watch TV going that darn Donald Trump versus the ones that go out in their car and actually try to ram officers and things like that?
And not exactly.
The ones that don't act like
No,
don't
this
make
is just from a general psychological standpoint. All human beings, we come into situations and we always have an emotional response to things.
sure a
It's our
response to a
pull. We
fact
always
that
have a lean. We
it's
always
a
lean one
response
way
to
or
a
the other.
fact that you've seen though a response
Yeah,
to something.
but you should, but it's more psychologically healthy to be able to have the capacity to step back from those emotions. Emotions tell you what we value. It says what's important to us. So we should pay attention to that.
Of
But
course,
then we should know why it's important and if the solution that we're being fed is actually going to work. Because a lot of times they're on the news, they're feeding us some solution that hasn't been examined or is an outright lie.
just misinformation altogether. Right,
Yeah, it's
right.
just a piece of misinformation
But
altogether.
is it I'm not. I definitely do not want to discount emotion because emotion is
No,
important. I have
no.
plenty of it myself.
Oh, we all do,
Oh yeah, and
except for psychopaths.
I don't think I'd be
Except for
without
psychopaths.
it. Without it, I wouldn't be human. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
no,
So
that's just
I
it.
think it's great. It's an integral part. Now, people should remember though. We talk about how it comes from the heart, but the heart is really at the end just a blood pumper, and everything's happening up here.
Mm.
Emotions are up here, and emotions have
No, no,
they
emotions
have a
aren't all
role.
in
They
your
have a.
head. A lot of them are in your gut
Well, the
because
first thing you said is emotional is a response.
yeah, well,
That's the
it is.
role, though.
It
So
is.
a lot of people that are unhinged on the left wing and to be fair, on the far right wing as well. They they're putting their cart before their horse in their brain mentally.
Hmm.
They have an emotion already preset. They're already angry. They're already upset or
Yeah,
jealous or
it's already
upset.
there.
It's
I,
already there. It's instilled in them. Most people that walk around that are on the far left, and I know some personally, by the way, that
hmm.
just are angry all the time. They look like
Yeah,
even if they're at a nice event and they're smiling, you can see the tension in them.
yeah,
and
yeah.
and and it's because they have a preset. They're putting their emotions. They're letting their emotions are important, but you can't let them run you.
Yes,
You have,
exactly,
you
exactly.
have to you have to. They have a role, and the role is to react to what you see factually.
Hmm.
So you can't. If you are somebody who is letting your emotions run you, and then if you're that set on something, and I'm just going to give you this thing: Donald Trump is a tyrant. That is one of the things my brother was trying to convince me of again this morning,
Right.
just this morning. That Donald Trump is a tyrant and I'm a cultist because I can't see it. Right
Yeah.
now, that is not a fact. That is absolutely not true. Donald Trump has done everything he can to follow the law, and I think to a point, to a fault almost.
Hmm. Oh
Okay,
yeah.
Donald Trump is not a tyrant. He's doing things to empower people. His policies are literally empowering people.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
agree.
there's no tyranny at all. So here's my point: a lot of people on the left wing are mentally ill because what they're doing is they're allowing their preset emotion to run them, and then now they're looking for what they can to support that emotion,
Yeah.
and they can't find facts to. If they can find a fact to support it, then they're okay, and then a lot of times they can't. In other words, here's the fact: Donald Trump is a tyrant. Where I tell my brother, just give me something to look. I don't want any tyrants either. If Donald Trump's a tyrant, give me some evidence, man, and I'll
Does
join
he
you in the
then
fight.
change the subject?
He then changes the subject or ignores the question completely if it's in
Uh,
writing, especially.
I too have had this experience.
So they'll look for whatever they can find to fit the narrative. And if they can't find a fact, they'll just twist the fact.
Hmm.
And it's completely inane and completely toxic, honestly. And I have people like politicians that are the worst thing about it is the politicians like Chris Murphy and Blumenthal, and the list goes on and on and on. I'll read them at the end of the show when I find the page.
Hmm.
They know this
Yeah.
and they take advantage of it
Well, the
to
Communist Party.
foment a
So
coup.
this actually transitions a little bit. I want to transition into. So I was talking about, we were talking about like sources of information,
Mm-hmm.
and I have some things to share about the fella who was tragically shot this last week, Daniel Pritti.
Yes.
And
I'll talk
so
about
the narrative of the mainstream media has been, oh, he was a nurse at the VA, and he was a very caring, loving
that.
person.
Maryland dad.
Yeah, I don't know about the dad part, but I hadn't heard
Yeah,
about.
but it's the Maryland dad all over again
Oh,
is
right,
what
right.
I'm saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Maryland
yeah,
dad all over again.
yeah,
He
yeah.
is caring, loving person, and I've got a couple of screenshots. And the first one is, and I'm gonna do it, and then I'm gonna come back out. So give me a sec here. Now that I've actually figured out how to do screenshots properly. Here
Right.
we go. Yes.
Technological advancement, common sense news and entertainment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
we just
oh,
shut down.
come
Oh no,
on.
it's back. Okay.
No, this little booger. Oh no,
I'm kidding.
it
We're
did a
back.
bad thing. It did a bad
Boop,
thing.
boop,
I'm
boop.
sorry.
No,
Now
what did
I
it
have to
do?
get back out.
I
Stop.
see it. Okay, now I see you again.
Okay, yeah. No, I'm gonna try this again because this was not. Hang on. Let me make sure that my screen didn't accidentally scroll on me. So what happened here is that they showed, yeah, this like disappeared. Hang on, let me get back here. Yeah, I completely lost it. I'm gonna have to go back. Um, Phil, let me see if I can find the window. Uh, nope, not that one. I apologize, guys.
We're experiencing technical
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
difficulties.
I
Please
got it.
stand
Okay.
by.
I rat. Okay, we're gonna try this again. Okay.
All right, we're
Um,
back.
I gotta get the right one. Should be that one.
Let's do another Jeopardy.
There we go. Okay,
Okay, we're
so
back.
here we have a picture.
I
This
see.
the
I'm gonna
picture
have
of
to get
the yeah.
close to this.
So this is what MSNBC did to Alex. Oh, it's Alex. I'm sorry, I said Daniel. It's
This
Alex.
is the guy. This is the guy that deceased here.
This is the
Yeah. Okay.
man who was
You can be a really good
Tragically
person and
so.
also go out and be an agitating part time as well.
But you
Just
can.
saying.
There's evidence of that. I'm
There's
going to
both of that.
actually have the video of that. But
But
this
no one's saying he's a bad dude.
MSNBC did to make this guy look like he was something that he wasn't. You
Oh,
know,
so this
they
okay.
they they made him look a little more healthy. They gave him
Yeah, I see.
muscles.
Oh
Um,
wow, yeah, okay, I see now. I gotta get closer. Okay, yeah, I see what
yeah,
you're saying. Yeah.
yeah. It's a little disturbing, frankly. And there was an interview that I just saw. I watched Dave Rubin, and he's a pretty fun commentator. But he comments on stuff, and the commentator in that particular show was talking about how this Alex Preddy was a guy that you wanted your daughter to go out with. Look at this guy was amazing. He was
Backpacking heat running around the street, kicking out the rear tire,
Oh,
rear
just wait.
window.
Just hang on.
That's the guy you want your
Give
daughter
me a
to marry.
minute. I've got the video. I'm gonna pull up the video here. Hang on. Let's see. I think it's this one. Um,
It's okay to be. Listen, from what I can see, it looks like the federal agents may have overreacted a little bit on this one,
okay.
and it's okay to say that one bad thing happened, and yet there are thousands of people that have been the criminal, illegal immigrants that have also committed crimes or violent crimes that have been deported, and that's good for everybody. And so, to emphasize one bad incident like this,
What?
even if it is bad, even if the federal agents were out of line here, and emphasize that and lose the perspective of all the fact that first of all that they have agitators coming at them and attacking them left and right.
Mm-hmm.
So they're being provoked, one. And two, despite that, 1,000, 10,000 to one, they're, letting these people out, getting people out of the country peacefully, in a peaceful manner. And we have a million or more that have voluntarily left as well. And so that gets overlooked. And all we're gonna talk about is this one man who, I'm sorry this happened to him, and it probably shouldn't have happened to him. However, it wouldn't have happened to him had he not decided to run out armed and agitating federal agents.
Well, let's add on to that because he had. So one of
You
the
don't
things that
do
was
that.
reported was that he had broken ribs at the time of his demise. So this is how he got the broken ribs. One
Yeah, let's
moment.
see if I got the
Okay, we're
book.
gonna play.
Federal immigration agents 11 days before Border
Ah,
Patrol shot and killed
yeah.
him.
This is the video right here
Our
I was
footage was
talking about.
analyzed by the BBC, whose facial recognition technology confirmed his identity to a 97% degree of accuracy. On the morning of January 13th, our team received a tip that federal agents were blocking a street at the corner of East 36 and Park Avenue in Minneapolis. We arrived around 10:15 a.m. We saw observers shouting at the agents as they walked back to their vehicles. When they started driving away, the man kicked their taillight. An agent then got out of the vehicle, grabbed him, and pushed him to the ground.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
During the altercation, agents fired tear gas and pepper balls into the crowd. They continued to hold the man down before they retreat and he walks away.
So, wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing to
The
me.
man in our footage is wearing a similar outfit to what Preddy was wearing on the day he was killed. What appears to be a gun is also visible above his waistband.
It's amazing to me how many people that are really otherwise, this is stunning to me, they're otherwise sensible people, really. This is why I think this TDS thing is real.
Mm,
There are people that I know of personally that I considered to be, in the past, very sensible people that I know for a fact that were able to debate both sides of a political issue in a rational way.
wow.
And now those same people now are completely unhinged.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Think
honestly,
about a lot of people you've known
funny.
over the years. Same
Yeah, I
people.
mean, honestly, I have to wonder how much of that is, and this is going to annoy people, I'm sure, but how much of that was the COVID shot? Um, I've been following a lot of the medical stuff on this, and
No, I think there's something else to it though. I think there's a psychological component. Maybe you're right. The
well,
COVID has
yeah,
to
I
do with
mean,
it.
it's could be,
But
pieces. It's always hard to isolate one specific cause. You're
well,
talking.
there is one other difference. We've never had elected officials egging it on before.
Mm-hmm.
Never.
No, this is true. This is true. And boy, howdy
And
are they.
look at the Rodney King
Oh my
riots when they
goodness.
happened, right? The Rodney King riots.
Yeah.
Everybody on both sides of the aisle condemned the violence. Nobody was going
Right.
to condone that.
Right.
Nobody was stoking it.
Right. And
There were
they
no
are. Oh,
governors
they are.
stoking it like this Walt character.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
This dude is not. This dude is. Look, if I was a preacher man, if I was a really religious guy, I'd be
Mhm.
like, cry. Trump is like Jesus and Walt is the devil, man. And he really is the man. Look, if you're religious, in the Bible, chaos and evil are the same thing.
Mhm.
And Walt is fomenting chaos. Simple.
He's not the only one.
No, but
Not
I'm
the
using.
only one. You start calling people Nazis, then, there's that whole thing about, oh, if you could go back in time and kill Hitler, and
The
it's the
insult to
current,
the people.
that people are already very freaked out about this. It's like,
Calling people
what else is
Nazis.
it?
That's the point. Guys like Waltz and Murphy and Blumenthal, our two senators, they're doing the same thing. Those guys know that Trump's not a. They know
Hmm.
Trump's not a Nazi. They're fomenting what I talked about earlier. You can call it a mental illness or mental tick if you want. Those people that are already stirred up emotionally, and they're not. I'm sorry, people like my brother, my own brother, are not thinking in the right. You're supposed to run along at an even keel, and then when something happens, you can be happy or sad by what you see, by facts that you see. Then you react. Then your emotion kicks in.
Mm,
You lose your boyfriend or girlfriend. Oh God, you're heartbroken. You're sad for a while, and
yeah.
eventually you recover, and you're walking on the street, and then something happens. Oh, I'm mad. Somebody passed a law I don't like. I'm pissed off. I want to elect another senator. You're supposed to handle things democratically in a democratic society. What's democratic about Minnesota? What's going on in Minnesota?
Yeah.
Who's fomenting that stuff?
Yeah. And
So
people are, I mean, you do
the
hear about
same people that point the finger at Trump and say he's a threat to democracy are going out and threatening democracy.
yeah.
I
Well,
asked my brother,
I
how
will
did
tell you that I think that a lot of them actually believe that they are doing the right thing. I
I
do.
think some of them
Now,
do. I don't.
we know what the communists call those people. We know what they call them.
They're called sycophants.
No, they're called useful idiots, and I'm not actually exaggerating. That's what they call them.
I think a lot of rank and file politicians and a lot of citizen activists are. You're right. Just like that. But guys like, all right, I'm going to read you the list. Richard Blumenthal, Chris Murphy, Ned Lamont, AOC, Pritzker from Illinois, Fry, the mayor of Minneapolis, Waltz, we just talked about, governor of Minnesota, Kamala Harris, Chuck Schumer, even, Nancy Pelosi, Newsom, governor of California, Adam Schiff, for sure. I think he's from Virginia, if I'm not mistaken.
Now,
Dan
these are the
Comey,
people you think are probably affiliated with the communists
Brennan,
in some way, like China.
yes. I think Obama, I'm going to finish the list. Hillary Clinton, Omar, the Congresswoman, the one with that married her brother there, Letitia James,
Billy and Omar.
Mondami, mayor of New York, and Jack Blake. Those people are not. They know that they're what they're doing is they're trying to control your life, and they're psychopaths,
Hmm.
and they're aware of what they're doing, and they're bad. They're pure evil. Now, there's a lot of other politicians in here, and a lot of others that are doing what you're saying. They are they're buying into it, and they're passionate about it. It's just they got TDS or whatever it is. They got some kind of a syndrome that they think they're doing the right thing, like you said. They actually think they did. It's
There's
because they
also,
think they know better than you,
yeah.
though.
I
They think
think
they
there's
know.
also a level of people who are just like looking at it and going, I think I'm just going to take personal advantage of this. And that there's no ideology, there's just selfishness.
Yeah, well, they're all
Couple of
enriching.
that.
You know, they're all enriching themselves, like
Yeah.
Omar, whatever. What about the girl? Okay, when Donnie came mayor of New York, he appoints a young female to be one of his administrators in the city, and she
Mhm.
was in the news a couple months ago, or a month ago, just a few weeks ago actually, when she goes on and says, "Oh, not all white people, especially white people. A lot of people own their
Oh
homes.
yeah, I remember
We're gonna
that.
have a new relationship with home ownership, blah blah blah. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna now no longer allow people to own their own homes. We're just gonna make everybody live where you want them to live. That type of thing, control your life at that level. And yet we find out her own parents have $1 million home in Tennessee,
Oh,
and
no kidding. Good.
and yeah, and then she got all kinds of ownership and assets of her own. So, is she going to give those up? I think not. So,
Mhm.
that kind of hypocrisy. Let me ask you, Selena, is that a just a mental tick, and they're just trying to do the right thing, or are they really literally just like, I'm better than you, and I should have it and you don't because I'm smarter and I can
There's
control your
plenty of
life.
that out there. We have, I mean,
Both, I
human
guess.
psychology, there's plenty of room for that. And,
Not all
I
good.
think religion was one of the things that helped mediate some of that. It was, I mean, at least if, because literally there's studies that show that if people think that someone is watching them, they behave better. And this goes right up through university professors. I have to dig the
Mhm.
study out for you. It was a good one. It was professors of moral philosophy, and they did this study on them, and there was a substantial number of them that were perfectly willing to cheat when they wrote a paper and cite something incorrectly or state.
Nobody knows about it, supposedly,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, it was like, really?
Well, that's why when the
Really?
proctor walks by, you cover it right up. You know what I
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
mean?
I mean, it was just
I was a proctor
come,
once.
come now. So yeah, so I mean, in terms of human psychology, we are supposed to keep each other in line. That's what being in groups is all about. Is like we survive better if we behave better. That shows up in game theory. If
And there
you
may be some truth to
if
that.
tit for tat. Have you ever heard of tit for tat?
Sure.
It's a game theory. I'll explain it for the audience. Tit
And
for
I
tat.
think that's all. I think those studies are probably true, and that's okay too. If you're trying to protect your jewelry counter, or if you're trying to
Well, no,
make sure you
what
have
tit
surveillance
for tat
cameras and
is
whatnot, it's fine.
it's a very specific
Yeah.
psychological game that if someone cheats someone, they're more like if you say you cheat somebody, they're more likely to cheat back. And you can, but and this is a cycle that will just continue to go on.
Right.
Option is you can just say, no, I'm not going to do any more. And as long as you don't do anything to me, I won't do anything to you. And what happens is
Live
that
and let live,
they
baby.
run this through computer models, and the computer models that say, leave me alone, and I will only retaliate if you bother me.
Hmm.
Those models tend to proliferate and do better. So that like the whole like when you're coming back at somebody constantly, it doesn't work well. And if you're honest and just like retaliate when you're harassed, then everybody does better. And so this is
It
like this is it's called game theory. And so
was like a lame theory to me.
I'm probably not explaining it very well. I'm sorry.
No, no, it makes
But
sense. I
but
mean, I know
but
what
the
you're saying.
baseline is that if we mind our own business and we act well with each other and we have trust in a society, we do better.
Right.
So, and if we don't spend all of our time acting like Somalians, where the expectation is everybody's cheating, well, we know what Somalia looks like. So
I think if you
a
live, if you,
psychological state, but this is normal to humans. So it's like
we
we
don't
have
want
to
that
figure out how to
here,
deal.
right? I get. Well, that's example of a toxic society. We don't want it brought here.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
And you know what it comes down to is that's what you get. What you're getting down to is the essence of common law.
Yeah,
Why
yeah,
public?
absolutely.
Why it's so important? Why public places should be accessible to video and viewing and
Mhm.
openness, and we should be able to watch each other in public
Yeah,
because that's the essence of
yeah.
what you're talking about. We behave better when we're being
And
watched.
and body
It's,
cams for cops.
right, and so and for that very same reason, when you're in private, you're to be left alone
Mhm.
and not be watched because then you can do what you want to do.
Right. Uh,
That's the other half of it
um,
where so as long as these studies that you're saying that left wingers are using to basically back control are not inaccurate.
mhm.
They're just misapplying it to
Yeah.
try to wreck our freedom essentially.
Well, there's also some belief stuff behind that, in that a lot of people on the left think that first of all, they trust the government, they think the government's a good thing, and
That's a
that's
bad thing.
pretty common, which is the complete opposite.
Local government can be good sometimes if you get the right people elected.
Um, but they also think that having people be controlled is a good idea because they don't think that human nature is naturally positive.
Mm-hmm.
And it's entirely possible. So there's a saying in the Talmud, which is, we don't see the world as it is, we see the world as we are. And so,
I get that. A lot of people don't see the world. Another problem is a lot of people do not see the world before their birth or after their They only see the world in terms of their birth. They do not see it beforehand, and they can't learn from it.
No. Yeah, so on that note, let's maybe roll over
We
into
talk about immigration real quick. One more thing, though.
yeah, yeah.
I have a plan for we're Trump, since he's been inaugurated, has been looking to get illegal immigrants that have come to the country but also committed crimes since they've been here.
Mm-hmm.
And in that process, the policy has been, if there are any illegal immigrants that have not committed any crimes since they've been here, we're not really particularly targeting them yet. However, some of them are getting swept up in the mix, right? Isn't that kind of what they're saying? What Tom Homan is saying?
Well, what they're doing right now is if they're going after, they have warrants for legal removal. Warrants
For
have already been issued, that have already been issued through various courts. Some of these go back for
deportation
years.
issues have already been issued, right.
Yeah, yeah,
But
issues.
generally speaking, it's the people that have already committed other infractions, though they've already been here.
Sometimes
Generally,
it's just that they have a legal, they
right,
just have they may or may not have committed a specific crime in the U.S. They certainly
right.
are very happy to tell us about the ones that have, and I'm happy to hear about it because I
Sure,
people.
but still, as a whole, though, as a policy, the ICE is generally targeting illegal aliens who are also criminals and other, or whatever. They're not as yet going after large amounts of people who have essentially blended in and not caused any other problem after they've been here. Now, if they get swept up in it, yes, that's kind
They
of what we're
had a
doing.
legal or they had an
Right.
order of removal because
So
they
the
did
question
do
then
X, Y, or Z.
becomes, once we get to a point where we've removed a lot of the criminal illegal aliens who are also committing violent crimes and committing other crimes, or they're frauding the system or whatever, right? And we're getting rid of a lot of those people. The question is then going to become, what do we do with the ones that have come here and assimilated or have not caused any other problems other than crossing the border, which I agree is a crime. But if they haven't done anything else, what do we do with those people? Now, the position that Trump has said before is they got to go and they have to reapply and get in line and come back. If they go willingly, they can reapply. And then Christy Nolan said that on TV commercials as well.
And and Jason, just so you know, the hang on, let me see, and hopefully it's going to work. See, yep, there we go. The majority of the public tends to think that everybody should go.
Okay.
This is from a series of polls. I love this guy on CNN.
Yeah, he's the one honest guy that got on there.
Yeah, it's
But all
pretty
he does is just
funny
draw
watching him
statistics.
do his poll thing. He's very enthusiastic about it.
Yeah, I know his role. I know his role
So
there.
let me read this off for anybody who's just listening. So these are various polls where people were asked about whether or not they thought that undocumented immigrants should. Okay, so oh no, so the question is, do you want all illegal immigrants deported? And ABC in particular specified undocumented immigrants, just so everybody knows. The New York Times poll was 55% of people wanted them all gone. Marquette wanted 64% of people wanted them all gone. CBS News 57% and ABC News 56%.
Okay. So let me first say two things about that. Number one, I don't trust any poll that ABC, CBS, or NBC does ever. Ever.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as, and they cite it on Fox all the time. What's his name? Kilmeade. It's always citing the CBS poll. Kilmeade's a smart guy, but dude, how can you follow the CBS? So whatever poll they have, I don't trust it. Now, it doesn't mean there isn't, it doesn't mean I don't believe that a lot of people do want all immigrants illegally taken out of the country. And I tend to agree with it myself, actually. If you came here illegally, you jump the fence, you cut in line. Everybody who's waited for Space Mountain at Disneyland knows. You cut the line, you get back at the end of the line again. It's not fair, especially for people who are trying to come here legally and wait. But listen, I'm going to be fair. If you're living in a hellhole like Ethiopia or Chad or
You want
someplace
to be
where,
empathetic.
yeah, we are very
That's what you want
empathetic.
to be.
You want to come to the United
I don't know
States.
about fair is a whole other
Well,
conversation.
let's say you live in a country and you're suffering in a bad country somewhere. You're a good person. You love America. You want to come here and you come here legal and you find out you got an 18-month waiting period or, something, because it's not easy to come here legally. It's not. And you think, Jesus, what am I going to do? My family's suffering. I'm going to just gonna go for it. I'm gonna jump the fence. I'm gonna try it. You know, and I'm not gonna. I'm gonna tell you right now. If I had a family I was trying to protect and living in some hellhole, and I tried to come legally and I couldn't, I might be tempted to do the same thing because I'm gonna do what's best for my family. The hell with what the governments around the world are doing. I'm not trying to defend illegal immigrants here. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but I'm trying to be sympathetic, put myself in the hands and the shoes of people who are going through what these people go through. Good people that love this country I'm talking about.
And that's very specific because there's a
That's
lot of
those
people
two things are very specific to what I'm talking about here. And
very
those people are
specific.
out there. And there are ways to get asylum for people if you're really suffering. There unfortunately because of this crap that Biden has put us through, Trump has had to temporarily shut down this asylum stuff while we sort it out. It's sad. But there are once we get it back up and running, there are ways to get here if you're truly being oppressed and get around the long ways and stuff like that to get here legally again. Now, once we're satisfied that we've got a hold of what Biden has done, and we feel like the country's getting back into shape, and we have probably, who knows, 10 or 15, 20 million illegal immigrants that have come here and somehow assimilated into the country in one way or another and have gone unnoticed and have not caused any other problem. What do we do with those people? Yes, the polls say, most people say they should all go home. But from a practical matter, is that even feasible to ship 30 million people out of the country? Is that even feasible?
Well, I'm going to go with I. I'll start with I don't know. However, we've managed to. This is according to the administration. We've managed to get over 2 million people out of the country, and
In the last year.
in the last year,
Yeah. That's
only
25 more years to get the rest, or 20 more years to get the rest.
let me finish. Let me finish. That's with ICE not being ramped up because they only started ramping this up at the beginning of January.
True that.
But only 600,000 of those or so were actually forced deportations. The rest were voluntary.
That's true.
The rest were voluntary. So
I think that program should always go on.
Voluntarily, and if they do leave voluntarily, they get 26, as long as they go through the app, they get a free airline flight
and like $1,000, right?
$600 in the pocket,
which is a lot of money in some of these other countries too.
Yeah, so
That's great.
That might be a sufficient incentive to
maybe they ramp up that program to get more.
Well, it was $1,000 early on. Now,
what about the issue? Let's get to the heart of the matter, though. What about the issue of possible forced deportations of these people as time goes on? The ones that don't come forward. But now, what do we do with that? What do we do that? And it's easy to say the minimum of 10 or 15 million people on that. And that's just going through the Biden and Obama years. What about people that have been here for 15, 20 years?
I'm not sure I'm willing to cop to the idea that the majority of the people who came in here were just plain old innocent. Because
no. But how do we determine that?
Listen to me. The reason I'm saying this is because Venezuela, Cuba, a bunch of these, China literally took people out of their prisons, out of the hospitals, and sent them to the United States.
Correct. So, if anyone, all right. So anyone
I'm not saying there aren't some.
There are those who have come here.
However, I'm not convinced that it's the majority.
The number of people that were criminals and ended up in jail in another country, and then came here and they were shipped here, came here, sent here, whatever, and then didn't commit any crimes once they got here. That's got to be a very small number of people.
I don't believe that at all.
I can't imagine there's very many of those people at all, right?
You agree with me on that? I think there's plenty of them because they emptied their prisons.
So they come here and they want to start a new life now. Like they
came here and want to be criminals just because.
Right. So there's not any that
I want them out.
They didn't come here and then find God and get decide to be good people after that. So So okay, I want to talk only about the people that have come that have come here have done nothing else since they got here, though.
That's what I assumed.
So here's my proposal, and I want to tell you what you think of it.
Mm-hmm.
If you've come here. If you've been here from before if you come here after the Biden years, actually, it almost doesn't matter. If you've come here and have committed no other problem, right, and you've been identified, you're living somewhere, you're living a normal life, and you don't have a record that's known anywhere from overseas as well, okay? You've been checked on Interpol, whatever. You're clean, but except you came here. you get a letter or a visit explaining we know you're here illegally and you have to come to this hearing in 1 week at this location. You must come to this hearing. If you don't show up, you're gone. You know where you live, you're deported. Show up at the hearing. At the hearing, there'll be a citizens panel of 7 or 9 or whatever number you want of citizens, American citizens. At the hearing, the person will have an opportunity to demonstrate that exactly what we're talking about. They truly have, with evidence, that they truly have come here for the right reason. They love this country and they're assimilate, not the salad bowl, but the melting pot, right?
Mm-hmm.
The melting pot. They've truly become a part of this country and they want to be citizens. And then that panel can determine whether that's true or not. They believe that's true about this person or not. If it's true, if it's not, and if it's not true, they're gone. Period. No, this is the due process the Democrats say they want,
So
right?
here's my,
Let me finish. We'll finish real quick. If it is true, if it's proven to be true, then they can be allowed to stay in the country on the auspices that they pay a fine for their crime of coming over the border of at least $20,000, I'd say. And then if they're poor and they don't have enough money, they can do it in payments. But they must pay the fine. If they miss payments, they're gone. Once you pay the fine, because you got to be punished because you commit a crime.
well, I mean,
Or
Trump
you,
has something.
or if you have no money, you could do maybe if you have no money and you're a really good person, you could do 100 hours of community service or something.
Right.
And
So
then you
my
get a pass.
question is
Yeah.
like, and this is something that I'm speculating because I'm talking about something that I have no knowledge of, and I'm asking questions here. Um, is a person who has been here without bothering to apply for citizenship for 5 or 10 or 20 years, does that person actually, can you make the argument that this person has Western values? And I'm not sure I can.
Yes. I think that question can be answered purely on a case by case basis.
Well, it would
Some yes,
have to
some
be
no. Like
certain.
I would think that like the question would be, why didn't you apply for citizenship? Well, I came here illegal. I'm scared to death. I've
And
just been working for this
there's
guy
never a
making.
good
I've
reason.
just been working on this farm making wheat.
I'm
Folding for the
sorry.
last 10 years or
I
whatever.
don't agree that fear is an adequate reason. I really don't. I really don't.
Well,
Maybe
if you
I'm just
came,
a hard
let's
ass.
say, what if you did come?
So,
What happens if you, under any presidential administration before this one, say, if you came forward and said, "Hey, I came here 5 years ago legally, but I have a job and I want to be a citizen," would you be deported?
it depends on the president. I
It
mean,
depends on the policy and the president, I guess.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
it really depends
so
on
that's why
what's
I have
going
to
on at the
say.
time.
That's why I got to tell you it's a case by case basis.
So I want to
That's
go
what
into how many people have been deported under various
I don't
administrations.
want. I don't want to see you know, good functioning families that may have been here for 10 or 15 years be just raided and deported either. I don't want to see that.
I want to know how many of those kind of people there are. And
There
I
are
I
some
think
people like that.
I think unless we have actual numbers and we have some idea, because I think when it comes down to it, we do not have
I
adequate
think if you look at I know that some senators have talked. I
all
heard
we
some
can do is
senators.
speculate. No one's
I,
ever done a study.
I heard some talk about policies of if you came during the Biden years, forget about it. Before that, we'll have to look at it, kind of thing.
Hmm.
Because, but I think that there are still people that come here for the right reasons. It's just that, especially during the Biden years, though, that was an
That was
invasion.
free
It was
for
happened. It
all.
was an invasion.
How many of that was how much of that was child trafficking? Because dear God.
Yeah, what happened during the Biden years is when we're all dead and gone, 50, 60 years from now, that's going to be considered right up there with the Goths and the Visigoths and the Vandals in Rome. I mean, if we really that bad, so we better fight this thing off.
Yep.
All right, yeah, you have some statistics.
Yeah, I have some statistics, and the reason I want to share these is because, we're seeing so much. Just want a little perspective here. The amount of drama that we're seeing, and this is also, there's drama going on in Maine, although quite a bit less than in Maine, since we're gonna bring it back to New England here,
Mm-hmm.
because there has been a large push for ICE in Maine, because they have the Somalian community up there. They've
In
probably got
Freeport, right?
no, no, not
No,
Freeport. Lewiston, Portland, Lewiston, Portland, pretty much. I think there's some in Augusta
near
too.
Boston.
But they got in the last week or so, they've gotten about 200 people. And so they've all been removed. And these are, And the amount of fraud in Maine it's right up there with Minnesota. They're doing the same thing there.
Yeah.
And
Closer to home.
yeah, I gotta go home. But anyway, so there's a lot of drama. There's less drama in Maine because apparently a lot of people in Maine are like, yeah, let's go. So ICE hasn't even had to wear there are places where they're not even wearing their mask now because they feel safe enough that they're not going to get doxxed.
That's good to hear.
Massachusetts, not so much. That's a different conversation. But anyway, so there's a lot of drama about like, oh my God, these people are getting deported. So just for comparison, in Biden's term, Biden, during his term, 1.5 million illegal aliens got removed. So that was Biden. Like I said, there's 675,000 have been forcibly deported in the last year. So that's Trump's second term. Trump's first term, over the whole 4 years, 1.2 million. That's less than Biden actually evicted. And I'm saying Biden in a very loose term because I don't actually think he was running the country. Obama, we're going to go back a little further. Obama removed 3 million over his two terms. No drama there, nothing to see here, move along. Clinton, let's go to Clinton, 12.3 million over his two terms. And even Bush removed during the Bush's term, DHS removed 10.3 million. And even though he was a Republican, there was not a lot of screaming and yelling.
But
No.
here's the thing, though, about this, though. I have to just say again, playing devil's advocate a little bit here.
Hmm.
Are there statistics about how many of these deportations from past presidents happened at the border
It's not
versus,
it's not
versus in cities like
differentiated.
Chicago and
You mean like they were stopped at the border? Yeah, they include all those statistics
yeah. So that's
together.
a lot of that.
Yeah. So yeah, if you stop people at the border, great. That's fine.
That's the way. That's better. Now the
That's
border's
even
shut
better.
down. That's the
Yeah,
way it should be.
that's even better. That's less
And they'll
reason.
keep Trump keeps going on talking about how the border shut down, no one's coming in, no one's coming in. Probably that's true in the southern border, but what about the northern border? There's no
Yeah,
way that's
right. I
completely
don't know
shut
about
down.
the border. That's
And
a
what
little.
about Minnesota being on the border with Canada? What's going on? I think the northern border of Minnesota should be looked at closely.
I know. That I admit, Jason, that scares me too. Because it's like,
Yeah, I
what
thought of
the
that. I mean,
hell is going
geographically
on in
speaking,
Canada?
they could keep sending Somalians right in through
I know.
through Canada if they
Well,
want. The
that's
Canadian
if you
government
know
can.
the 9/11 terrorists came down through Maine.
Yeah, that's right. That's correct.
Yeah, they did.
It came from East Brunswick or whatever that is, right? From Eastern
Yeah.
Maine. Yeah.
Well, not yeah, they came I think they came through Brunswick, which is actually where I go when I'm up there. As I'm in Brunswick. And yeah.
Let's not underestimate the northern border.
Yeah, let's not because that is a whole long stretch of ain't nothing up there. And my buddy my one of my training partners up in Maine is he does a lot of hunting and fishing. He's been up along the border. He's like he says most of the northern border is just little posts in the ground. It's like
Yeah, I've been up
this
there.
side you're on Canada and this side United States.
Yeah, I went up
That's
to.
the
I
northern
was
border.
actually up in northern Maine myself, and also in northern Vermont as well.
Hmm.
Both locations, we were traveling dry on the side of the road. I said I'd never been to Canada before. I said all you could do is pull over the car
Hmm.
and just walk across. It was a little river, but it was only like 6 inches deep. The whole thing was a creek. It wouldn't have the water up above your more than your ankles, maybe your shin at the most. Just
Yeah.
walk across about maybe 30 feet, and you're in Canada. There's nobody around. I wanted to do it, but I didn't have the balls to do it. I don't know why. But
Yeah.
instead, I was in Canada. But yeah, we got to do more of the northern border. I
Yeah.
mean,
So
hopefully, I know Trump's on it, but there are a
yeah.
couple more topics I want to go over real quick before we go, though.
Okay. What else do you want to talk about?
Well, one of them is this is another question. We talked about how liberals fail to look at facts, that their emotions run them rather than facts, and then we ask simple questions and they lose perspective. Like, why get upset? I know we're upset about this one man and Ms. Good, those two people that died, but we're also saving a lot more lives.
Yeah, you have to
You
think
know?
about the people who actually died because of all of these horrible people
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and we talked about how people on the left ignore the good things that Trump is doing when you mention them. And another one is this thing that Trump recently just launched
Mhm.
called the Trump accounts.
Oh, those are great. Yeah.
Yeah, you're literally giving. Okay, let me just put this in a nutshell. The federal government is literally going to put up a sum of money. I think it's like $1,000 or something
Yeah, it's
into
about
a baby's account when it's born. You can't get it until you're 18. If you contribute a maximum of $5,000 to it per year, which is not a heck of a lot of money, it
Yeah.
can grow to $300,000 by the time a child turns 18. And even if you don't contribute anything to it, it's still going to be $10,000, $12,000
Yeah.
when your kid turns
Actually,
18.
I think if you let it go, which you can, you don't have to take it out at 18.
It
Um,
can grow further as you get older.
yeah, it could be by the time you're 28, it could be 1.1 million.
Million dollars.
Yeah.
So you're literally giving. This is one of the greatest things that no president's ever done anything like this for families, for children. This is amazing. This is going to heal. Honestly, if over the next few years, if this continues, we get everybody reelected, and this continues, this will create one of the most powerful generations in the history of mankind.
Yeah.
You know, and it'll make up for what happened during the COVID.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of those kids are not learning up to speed because of being out of school in the COVID, and there's a lot of.
Well, then,
I think a lot of it's exaggerated. I think honestly, but there are some kids that are falling behind.
well,
That
it's interesting because I teach kids, and we're finally starting to up in Maine. I teach karate, and the kids. I've been doing this for, I don't know. I've been 25 years. I've been
don't
doing.
age yourself too much.
Huh?
Don't age yourself too much here. I
But
don't care.
it's
I don't care.
been
I'm
doing it
old
for a
too.
long time. And the kids that came in during COVID, it seems like every one of them we really had to work to get their attention. And we're getting a whole new crew in now.
Hmm.
These kids, completely different. It's like
Yeah, that's scary.
night and day.
Some
Not,
some some experts think this generation is almost to the brink of being lost. That they have to be handled differently and everything. I hope that's not
they're gonna
really
have some
true.
heavy catching up to
That's so
do.
sad.
It
And but
really
this thing that Trump and then this thing that Trump's doing with it is really going to be is going to help reverse that effect. It's amazing what it's going to do. And then it's funny, interesting is Nicki Minaj, who
is.
I believe in the past, not a Trump supporter, one of those left wing people, has had the sense with what Trump. Two things: Trump is finally doing something about Christians being slaughtered in Africa,
Yeah.
and what he's doing with his Trump accounts has got Nicki Minaj completely turned around. Now she's a Trump supporter all the way.
Good for
The
her.
left can't talk about her. Like they don't know what to do because
No,
she's
she's
so
now persona
popular.
non grata.
Right. She's just too big for them to trash, They're just like they're not saying a word about her but she is totally flipped over about it.
Mhm.
And again, it's another question I asked my brother and other people have debated. They just ignore the question.
Right.
What about these things? Why would a tyrant do these things to empower people? Tyrants don't empower people; they suppress people.
Right.
Facts don't matter though. When you're driven by your emotions, facts don't matter. They're
Mm,
ignored.
yep.
So the last thing I want to bring up real quick is affordability.
Ah.
Prices are going down now in some certain areas, and I noticed the Democrats are quieting down a little bit about affordability. But I want people to understand one thing. And this is brief but important. Affordability has nothing to do with price or income in particular. It only has to do with affordability. How much can I afford the groceries and the gas, right? Well, gas prices coming down, grocery prices have stabilized. They're not really going down yet. But here's the thing that people need to know. In a free society, in a free enterprise market, prices generally don't come down. They're very hard to make come down.
Yeah, that isn't usual.
Even after they've been inflated when they shouldn't be, the process of bringing them down dramatically probably isn't going to happen. They've stabilized, which is good. They may come down certain areas. They did with eggs. They did certain things. If they're really high spike, they will come down. But you're not going to see everything go back to where it was in 2018 again or 2019 with prices again. Not going to happen. Don't expect it, but don't blame Trump. Understand there's another side of the equation. It's called income. So when hamburger costs $4.99 a pound or $5.99 a pound, you're making 20 or 30% more on your paycheck down the road. Now the hamburger is not so expensive anymore. So don't forget, it works on both sides of the ledger. You must understand mathematically. Affordability is about both. So the plan, what I'm telling you, the punchline is the things that Trump is going to do with the economy, with the big beautiful bill and the tax cuts and everything, is going to result in higher income. Your affordability is going to be relieved more so from your increased income than it will from lower prices.
And I'm here.
Don't lose sight of that, and don't and why and be patient. It takes a little while for it to kick in.
It is going to take a little while.
I think by the end of this year, people will see it, especially with the income tax returns and the
Yeah,
things that are going on with that. And if Trump ever pulls off getting rid of the income tax,
that would
we'll
be,
need another. We'll probably need JD Vance in the presidency to get to that point.
yeah.
Trump is a consultant.
There you go. So I'm gonna riff on your affordability thing a little bit. So, in Connecticut, we have a big affordability problem. There
Yeah,
is
we're
a
not
certain
getting
percentage of the population that gets paid really well. I mean, we have a very high income on average,
Mhm.
um, state, but there is a whole lot of people here who aren't able to afford that and that are struggling with electric bills.
Yeah, the average is high, but the high are higher, the lower are lower. So it's stretched out
Yeah,
with super high
yeah,
income stretches the number up.
absolutely.
Yep.
So the big problem right now is what is the state taking out of our pockets? So one of the things that made me happy is that we right now have three people running for governor. For those who do not know, we've got Aaron Stewart. We have, as Republicans, Lamont is running again. He wants another chance. I don't plan to vote for him. I'm going to say that right up front. I do not plan to vote for him. So we have three people running for the Republican nomination. So please get out and vote in your primary and pay attention to what's going on here. So we have Aaron Stewart, who was the mayor of New Britain. We have Ryan Fazio, who was I'm sorry, Jason is making funny faces, and I am entertained. Um, and we have Ryan Fazio, who is in the state legislature. And we have the newcomer Betsy McCoy, who was the vice chair. He's still making funny faces. He was the vice.
Rah rah.
She was the vice governor for New York. And she recently she's been talking about, first of all, she said she does not want Connecticut to be a sanctuary state. Um, and she's also recently said she wants to get rid of the state income tax. So this would certainly make things more affordable for people because there would be more money in your pocket. So neither Ryan Fazio nor Aaron Stewart has really talked. Both talked a fair bit about the problems in our state. Neither one of them seems to have thus far made any public statement about what we should be doing about it.
Well, let's be fair. Let's be frank about something. It's going to come back to the same theme, the same problem we've talked about all year long. Unfortunately, Betsy McCoy's biggest challenge is going to be our own party.
Yeah.
And so, therefore,
Yeah.
once again, go to your RTCs, get elected in positions at the RTCs, take over the RTCs. Otherwise, unfortunately, she will not. Aaron Stewart will end up being the nominee, or one of the other two will end up being the nominee. And they'll become a puppet governor, even if they get elected, which they may, because I think the sentiments out there for all
Well, the
these people that
alternative
want to
is
pull the
get
wool over
out and
everybody's
vote in
eyes.
the primary.
Look,
Although I
one
have
of the tools, yeah, one of the tools of elitist Marxists, elitists, is to pull the wool over your eyes by making you think you got your boy elected.
Yeah.
So when you get good old Aaron Stewart or good old Brian Frozen, everyone's going to go, rah, rah, we got a Republican in there. And they will do nothing to help us.
Right. Yeah. So total aside for purposes of entertainment, um, we had Jonathan DeBarros on a while back, and he was talking about hunting rhinos. He's very opposed to rhinos. He made a distinction. It's like if a Republican is pretty much voting with the Democrats, that makes him a rhino.
Yeah, the seven that voted against the budget thing today in the Senate, seven
Yeah.
Republicans.
Yeah, this is,
And
federal
for
level.
those of you who don't understand, Rhino stands for Republican in name only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of his followers sent him literally him riding a rhino. He's the rhino hunter now. So he called himself the rhino hunter. So I thought it was funny.
I like it. And
Yeah.
John's got the same problem that Betsy has. Betsy
Yeah.
McCoy has.
Yeah, he does.
Opposition within his own party.
Yep. And
So
there's somebody who's going to be running against him in a primary. So
right.
although
Always And what's that person's name? Do you know? We have somebody that's already
No, I
running.
don't remember. All I
I
all
don't either.
I
It's
remember
a
at this
woman. It's a
particular.
woman.
Oh,
The
you
the
talk for a
only
minute. I might actually be able to. It's probably on my phone.
um
Give me a minute.
if we don't win over RTCs around the state, because it's from the RTCs that the delegate. Am I wrong when I say it's from the RTCs where the delegates are selected,
Yes.
ultimately go and
Yes.
vote for the governor, not the nominee, and all that is independent of any debates or any television debates or anything that might go on. So therefore, that is not very democratic. I understand.
Okay.
So,
So the guy who's running against Jonathan DeBarros is Chris Shea.
oh, Chris Shea, he was a congressman already in Connecticut.
Was he? Okay.
Yes, years
Okay.
ago. He's got
Okay.
to be an old dude now, right? Is there a picture of him?
No, no, he doesn't. He doesn't look like an old dude.
Really? Well, he's got a
Yeah, he
good
looks like
makeup
well,
artist
you know
then.
what? I don't know how current this
Okay.
photograph is. You know, people tend to post much
Well,
nicer.
he's around. I think when I was in my 20s, he was. Maybe I'm
Yeah,
going
he
too
says
far
he
back.
was a Navy SEAL, a firefighter, a business owner. I'm gonna go with maybe he was. It doesn't say he
He's
was
a hack.
a problem solver.
He's
Yeah.
not a problem solver.
Okay. Anyway, so that's the fellow's name. So he's
Without the help from the grassroots, that means you and me and we the people, everybody. That means you, all my classmates from Rockville High School, and all my friends around the state that I've met, and all the people I've met over the years. You. That means you, the grassroots. You're the only ones that can get McCoy in as governor and get DeBarros into Congress. Without that, we're not going to solve any of our problems. We're not experiencing the kind of affordability break. We're getting some of it, but we're not experiencing the kind of affordability breaks that the rest of the country is.
Mhm.
Our gas prices are still kind of high, and they're not as good. They're always a little higher here, but they're better. But um, it's very important they get active, and I wish I had time to help all the RTCs. I wish there were more people that we are looking at to do the new Sons of Liberty, which is a small group of people that are going to be a little group of people in each town to go and again storm the RTCs. I'm not hearing too many stories. I hear some stories actually. Norwich,
Yep.
Estonia, right? You,
Yep. Me.
yep. And Coventry is going to be me.
Fairfield, and we have
Manchester,
mhm.
Fairfield, yeah, Fairfield,
Yep,
right?
Fairfield. Yep.
Okay, so it's starting to happen.
Yeah.
And remember, there are more of us. There are more mentally healthy people like us that think about that let facts dictate emotions rather than the other way around. This is again not to diminish the value of emotions. They're extremely valuable and important. I'm a pretty emotional guy for a guy myself, but you cannot let them run the day. It's like you love your children, but you can't let them run the house, man. Children are vitally
Yeah,
important to
that's
the
fair.
family.
Totally fair. Yep.
I can't let them run the
That's actually,
house.
I like that analogy,
Yeah,
actually.
the brain of the kind of parents. So they love the children. They're very important. But you got they kind of make the final
Yeah,
decision at the end
we
of the day.
got to keep them in order.
And that
It's
goes for dating too, by the way, for all you lovebirds out there looking for love. If you want to turn this into the Bachelor or Bachelorette show for a minute here, same thing in dating, man. You can't let your heart decide. They say you can't pick who you love. Yeah, that's true. But you can't pick who you date and who you offer your home to and your
you
bed
have to
to.
have a little. There has to be a little bit of
There's
rationality
got
there,
to be some brains
and
got to
it's
decide.
a good idea.
That's how you end up with men that don't beat you up, women. By the way,
What?
for those of you women that are with men that beat you up or let beat you up, but that's the crux of that problem. You gotta let your brain decide who you're gonna go with, not your heart. Your heart's gonna want to
We
be
can have
with.
a whole
Your
conversation
heart
about
doesn't
that.
always think straight. Your heart just goes with the flow. Again, goes with the emotion too much and doesn't think, oh, this dude could beat me up maybe, or this
Yeah.
dude could be a
Oh, we can have
problem.
a whole conversation about that. Been
That's
there,
a
done
whole
that
nother show.
conversation. Are we
All
there?
right, I think are we there?
I think we're there.
Okay, it's been a great show. We've covered a lot of topics.
Yep.
Got a lot more content to do. I have an idea, by the way, for the network. For those of you who might be interested, me and Cora are working on this.
All right.
It's going to be Connecticut Jeopardy. I don't know. We probably can't use the word Jeopardy because we'll trademark.
Yeah, it's probably. I don't know.
But it's going to be a bit like that. A trivia show content is going to be made up of questions about Connecticut
All right.
in all areas: history, economics.
So
People, personalities.
maybe we should just start adding some trivia
We could
questions.
do a little trivia question or two at the end of every show. It'd be great.
Yeah, let's
And
do
whoever chimes in first, give right now we just give them a thumbs up. But eventually, maybe we'll have prizes.
that.
But we want to have a game show where we get this. We're going to have college and high school kids come on, have little tournaments, answer questions about Connecticut, and you win. We can eventually ultimately give away, scholarships or things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Well, we gotta have some more money for that. but
Well, we need money at all for that. Let's start with some money at all to begin with.
For now, it's like, oh, you won.
We are starting a
Yeah.
nonprofit
Thank
organization soon. It's gonna be great. We're not gonna get the details now, but we're gonna get things moving here. More time for more action.
All right.
Anyway, it's great having you all here. Expand the base. Tell everybody about us on Facebook. We're gonna post it on Facebook later. We're gonna eventually be on the Big Eight: Substack, Rumble, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube.
Oh, we're on Rumble now. Yeah.
Yeah, we're already on these now, right? We're expanding to more. So
Jason's not on Rumble. Just
I'm not on Rumble personally yet, but we are.
Well, I
I am on
can give you
Substack.
the login, you know.
I am on Substack.
Okay.
I am technically on Rumble as well. I don't go on to it as much, but we are looking into stuff that will unite all the sites together.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have everything go up all over.
Everything going on once.
That would be
A
convenient.
lot to say, a lot to do. We're gonna get louder quick, so stay tuned.
All right.
Oh wait, one more thing.
God bless Connecticut. And
wait, one more thing. I'm sorry.
Yes.
One more thing.
What?
We need 11 more subscribers to get us eligible for live YouTube cast. So we need that. Subscribe to us, spread the word. Let's get 11 more subscribers to get to that point. Go ahead, Selena. Sorry, finish this off.
That's all right. You're good. We're good. So bye, everybody. Stay safe.
Bye, everybody.